What wisdom lies hidden in a world we've just begun to fathom? In every corner of the earth, lessons are being learned from unlikely teachers.
Every single animal has touched my life in a very special way. I mean, you're learning all the time. With every single animal, you learn something new.
From the plains of Kenya to the Colorado prairies, lives are being transformed.
I should not be alive today. It's only by the grace of God and the horses that I'm still here.
In ways we don't yet understand, animals can awaken even the most distant soul. The smallest of creatures can ignite the imagination and cause our spirits to soar. Even those we thought we knew so well are still offering surprising insights.
They have provided us with so much in this world, so much knowledge.
Beyond our human boundaries, there's an uncharted land. In it lies the legacy of every living creature, an ancient understanding still waiting to be explored. Hidden in the remote mountain forest of Tanzania, there is a magical world. A world where creature and human share an ancient alliance. Here, the medicine men know how to read their forest, like a book. By watching the creatures around them, they have learned to heal their own people. They have found cures for everything from headache to arthritis. Their knowledge of remedies reaches deep into the jungle and deep into their past. For as long as the Watangwe people have walked the earth, they've observed wild animals using the medicines of the forest. They've known that a sick chimpanzee might know where to find a cure that could heal their own people. These observations from the past provide a wealth of knowledge still used today. Mohammadi Seifu Kalunde comes from a long line of traditional healers. A game officer in Mahale Mountains National Park, he is teaching the wisdom of his ancestors to a modern medicine man. His colleague, Dr. Michael Huffman, is a world-renowned scientist, a trailblazer in a new field of research.
Here at Mahale, Mohammadi and the chimpanzees themselves are my teachers, my instructors. We started out just following the chimpanzees, trying to figure out what the chimpanzees are doing when they're sick, how they heal themselves, and what we can learn from them, what kinds of plants they're using, the ways they're using the plants, in hopes that we too can use this to better the lives of people.
For over a decade, Michael and Mohammadi have been tracking the same group of chimpanzees deep within a 70-square-mile expanse of forest. Chimps are ideal models. Like humans, they're vulnerable to malaria, arthritis, even polio. But in his search for new medicines, Michael knows he's working against the clock.
This is one of the last places where the chimpanzee is safely protected, and they still have so much to learn. To wake up one day and see that all of this is gone would be like throwing away the last medical textbook.
With Mohammadi as his guide, 15 years ago, Michael found a clue he's been following ever since. They observed a sick chimpanzee eating the tender shoots of a tree to cure herself of parasites. Lab reports confirmed the tree had acted as a remedy. The chimpanzee had led Michael to the discovery of 13 entirely new compounds. Compounds with anti-cancer, antibacterial, and anti-parasitic properties. It was a discovery that could have astounding consequences for the human race. More than half the world's population suffers from parasitic diseases, and the symptoms can be fatal.
This is what they were eating. It's the first medicinal plant that I found chimpanzees using. But when Mohammed and I first saw the first incidents, it was Mohammed that told me that when his people are sick, showing upset stomach, diarrhea, things like that, that they also use this plant, and it's a very important plant. It's amazing that humans and chimpanzees are using the same plant for the same things. As a scientist, I'd like to think that I'm covering new ground, but in actuality, I'm retracing the footsteps of a very ancient civilization, both human and animal.
Within the tropical forest is a medicine cabinet waiting to be opened. In its archives are drugs like quinine, heart medications, and possible cures for cancer. By unlocking the wisdom of generations past, Michael hopes to secure a future for generations to come.
The observations that I made about 15 years ago of a chimpanzee using leaves to medicate herself sparked an idea to try and combine the wisdom of chimpanzees with the methodology of science so the cure will last forever. If I can do that, I'll be a happy man.
Following in the footsteps of medicine men before him, Michael Huffman continues his quest. While half a world away, a very different sort of healing is taking place.
If it weren't for the horses, I'd be in one of three places. I'd be in jail, I'd be in an institution, or I'd be in my grave. The horses, they give me something to care about. Even when I was down and I didn't even care about myself, you know, now I have something to care about, and now I have something that I know cares about me. Inside, that just feels really good.
I didn't know how to care for things. Me and my mother was having a hard time, me and my friends, everything. I didn't care about anything. I just didn't care. If it wasn't for these horses, I'd be on the street because my family didn't want me. So that's how it changed my life.
On a ranch in eastern Colorado, young boys are mending their shattered pasts in the company of horses. The Colorado Boys Ranch is a non-profit treatment program for neglected and emotionally disturbed boys from across the nation. Some have been placed by the judicial system as a last resort. Here, they're given another chance. Director of the horsemanship program, Jim Kerr, has seen some remarkable transformations.
Most of these kids didn't have somebody there every morning that fed them breakfast, took care of them, got them off to school, whatever, you know. These horses grow to know that these boys are going to be here every morning, they're going to feed them, they're going to take care of them. The kids turn that all back too and say, hey, guess what? You know, they take care of me in a multiple of ways too. So we feel there's a lot of emotional healing that takes place.
Here at the ranch, the lessons learned outside the classroom are often the most profound.
Horses can do things for these boys that you and I can't. Most of these kids look at adults and are very untrusting. They feel let down. If you tell them you're going to be there, you better be there. These horses are always there. And they take care of these kids. Go easy, Sean. Don't hurry him until you warm him up. Those kids have to learn to share control with this 1,100-pound animal out there on the mesa. And most of these horses will babysit and take care of them in a way that you wouldn't believe.
With the horses, each boy at the ranch is learning his own special lesson. For 17-year-old Thurman, it's a lesson in family.
The boys get to be an active part of the foaling process and see the nurturing and the love that the mothers can give to their young ones. You know, a lot of these kids have never had that. So we try to help those kids understand what family life should be, what sharing should be, what caring should be. And the animals do it themselves. Getting going. Yeah, when you're working with young horses, Thurman, you have to be patient. Take your time. They'll learn to believe and trust in you. See if you follow. Yeah. See if you follow Mama. Come on. Come on. Associate the pull coming from you. The pressure's coming from behind. It's a gentle and easy way to make the pressure come from somewhere besides you pulling on their heads. They don't associate that with you. We do the same thing in treatment with the boys. We let them make the decisions with our guidance and our structure, but they're doing it. You know, in the same way here, we're not pulling on the head of that call. See, if you start pulling on it, that's what you get. They'll run backwards. They'll leave you. You do what we done with the rope. You're pulling down below. You're not pulling on his head. The pressure's coming from somewhere else, and he'll follow you.
After years on the streets, 16-year-old George has begun to turn his life around, thanks in large to a champion show horse.
His name is Ostentatious. He's a great, big, massive quarter horse with this humongous personality. He can bring back a feeling in a person that disappeared long since. My sisters were always mad at me, and in turn I was always mad at my baby brother, you know, because I didn't know anything else except anger. And then finally I gave up. I was by myself. I was on the street a lot. I was in jail, doing no good to myself, no good to other people. I owe everything to the horses. You know, I mean, they'll sit and they'll listen to you, you know, they'll kind of nuzzle you with their nose, or they'll let you know it's okay, and that you're going to pull through. And I've needed that, and I've gotten it. It's just a wonderful feeling to be here and to finally know love. Because a horse isn't going to let you down. You know, he'll be your friend through the thick and the thin. Get off the hose, you knothead. Come on. Oh, there you go. Stay there. A creature this size, I mean, he knows he could just trample me. I believe he knows he can. And to know that he's not only means that he must trust me. And that's kind of special, because not too many people in the past have trusted me, you know.
With Ostentatious, George has been challenged to reach beyond his past. For 6 months, he's been showing the champion at competitions around the state. Tomorrow, they'll be in Pueblo.
This is a final call for entry number 426. Thank you.
Getting ready, it's really nerve-wracking sometimes. And then it's kind of like, hurry up and wait. And that really gets your nerves racking. And then when you wait, you can't help but think.
I don't know what this stuff If I can have your attention, please. We do have a vet on the ground. If you need to see, please come to the office and let me know. Thank you.
Since I've been here, Jim, he's been like a father to me. He doesn't let me stray too far from the path.
And if I poke you,
Scream.
scream, I was going to ask for forgiveness.
Oh, I'll give you that too.
Can I have that? That's all I need. They're on the mares already. Did you comb it this morning?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Wow. I'd be hurting me too. Let's see.
Feel good. Not so nervous right now.
Where'd you get that, Dan? Nice little grin. Nice little smile. They see that. They like that. Okay. Try yourself. Pick them out. Pick them out of red pies. Pick them out of poop pies.
With Ostentatious by his side, George will face the judges.
Number 453. Ostentatious. Owned by the Colorado Boys Ranch and attended by George Danberg.
But for George, there are far more important challenges ahead. Here at the Boys Ranch, lessons learned from horses are helping young men rise beyond the wounds of childhood. With their gentle persistence, the horses are leading these boys to a second chance.
The horses showed me how to love. That's kind of like parenthood. I want to have a boy. Every time I care for my baby and every time I love my baby, I think about how I love the animals.
The horses at the ranch, they've showed a great deal of patience, and I guess that's what I needed. The way they don't give up is like, it's helped me to learn more about myself, you know, what I need to do not to give up.
Halfway across the world, there is a creature that has not forgotten the meaning of family. Here on the plains of Kenya, early morning has brought with it a momentous occasion. After nearly 2 years in her mother's womb, a calf has been born. With her first tentative steps, she is welcomed into the herd. These bonds will last a lifetime.
To be a baby elephant must be wonderful. Surrounded by her loving family 24 hours a day, touched by the family, cuddled, comforted, the tremendous love and compassion exuded by every family member. I think it must be how it ought to be in a perfect world.
Perhaps more than any other person, Daphne Sheldrick has a special understanding of baby elephants. For 50 years, she's been surrogate mother to dozens of orphans. She's raised most of them here at her home in Nairobi, alongside her human family.
Who's here? Like a Puccini, Mishak? Yes?
Her encounters with elephants have taught her lasting lessons in compassion. The most recent arrival is 3-week-old Ilingwesi. If she's to survive, the nurturing she would have gotten from her wild family will have to be replaced.
If you've had your own children, as I have, and now have grandchildren, it's not difficult to see they're very family-minded animals. These little elephants are a bit deprived, but they have a human family in place of the elephant one. But it's not quite the same thing.
Daphne learned this lesson the hard way 25 years ago.
When I had my first baby, Aisha, I didn't have any keepers. There was just me. And I fed her every 4 hours like you would a human baby, and put it in her little stable at 10 o'clock at night with one of my dresses hanging in her stable. But that actually wasn't enough. She got to 6 months, but when I left her for 4 days because my daughter was getting married, she simply died of a broken heart. Then I learned that they must have a family.
Elephants mature at much the same rate as humans. Their lives can span 80 years. Like Daphne's grandson, these infants will be dependent upon their human family for many years to come. Their keepers are the key to their survival.
Meshach's a hot favorite with all our elephants. He's our most experienced keeper. And these other men are trainees, you know, they're being taught, no pushing. She's tried to push him out of the way so that the others don't get there. When you want to see whether baby elephant's in good condition, you always look at the face. You should not see this bone, you see. This little one is a little bit, tiny bit on the lean side still. The cheekbone is just visible here. But they're all pretty on condition. You can see this. She's getting fat cheeks too, aren't you? The elephants must be very fond of their family, and the family must be fond of the elephants. And you can tell who's a good keeper and who's not, just by the reaction of the elephants. They can read your heart.
To look at these infants now, one would never guess the trauma they've so recently been through. This little one was only 6 weeks old when her mother was shot in southern Kenya. Like the others, she's made a remarkable recovery. The keepers are with the orphans around the clock, even through the night. It is ironic that even an infant like Ilingwesi can teach lessons in resiliency.
Elephants have certainly taught me how to put the bad things behind, turn the page and get on with living. Understanding the traumas that the elephants have to put up with and how they cope with it has, I think, made me a stronger person as well.
If elephants dream, might this one be dreaming of the family she once had? Can she know that if she survives, someday she'll have a family in the wild once again? Only 200 miles away from Daphne's orphanage lies Tsavo National Park. It is here that Ilingwesi's future family awaits her. In a small section of the park sits a compound, phase 2 of Daphne's orphanage. Here lives a herd of 6 orphaned elephants, all of whom arrived on Daphne's doorstep years ago as infants. At Tsavo, they're learning how to be wild elephants. Each day they leave the safety of their compound and follow their keepers into the park. Here they mingle with the wild herds, learning the language of elephants. Their self-appointed matriarch is 10-year-old Malaika. She keeps a close watch over her little family. Back at the compound, the keepers are concerned about their youngest charge. She was orphaned 2 weeks ago and is still dependent on milk. She's too young to join the others in the bush, and her health is poor. Daphne is flown from Nairobi to bring medicine and see what she can do.
Dawa ulcers.
Ndio.
Okay.
Ndio.
So wache inamalisha ile boluses kwanza,
Alafu naanza hii.
alafu naanza hii.
Ndio.
Despite the efforts of the keepers, the baby is listless and reluctant to eat.
She's in shock and grief and a little bit sick. But she's not too bad. You're going to make it, aren't you?
Daphne knows it will take more than the keepers and food to pull the little one through. She desperately needs the company of other elephants. The next morning, Malaika is asked to leave 2 members of the herd behind. The youngest females are held back to provide companionship for the little one.
Malaika is very agitated at having her family split. That's an unnatural thing to do. But she loves and trusts the keepers. And having been an orphan herself, she understands that that little calf is not very well.
The older orphans instantly comfort and reassure the newcomer. The change is almost immediate.
Just because she's with these other elephants, she's trying to eat much more. There's been a big difference. She's making much more of an effort today than she has previously. So the will to live is kicking in, which is really great. There's a tremendous lot we humans can learn from elephants. An elephant's relationship with its family continues beyond death. They will visit the bones of a loved one for years afterwards, come to that place, remember. Sometimes will come and take a piece of a body to carry off with them, and always remember, with tremendous love, a family member. Really, in a perfect world, that's how we all ought to be.
One needn't travel to Africa to find wisdom in the wild. Even Earth's tiniest creatures hold tremendous secrets we've just begun to unlock. If we take the time to look closely, we'll find there's a world of wonder right in our own backyards. Those very creatures we might take for granted have inspired doctors, scientists, and even engineers for centuries.
Hold on.
Take the butterfly. Its navigational skills are nothing short of remarkable. On a diet of nectar, some butterflies can travel up to 100 miles a day. Each year, the monarch navigates all the way from Canada to Mexico, nearly 3,000 miles. Another outstanding flight specialist is the dragonfly.
Hey, guys, over here!
These ancient flying machines can outmaneuver even our